Can you wake surf behind a pontoon boat? That has been the age-old question, and typically I would say no. But what we've got here is the Montara 25 Surf Boss 2.0, and I'm going to tell you why you can surf behind this. You could wakeboard behind this, or you could use this as a ski boat or just a pontoon. Stick around because this thing is incredible and it is unlike any other pontoon boat I have ever seen. So this is the Montara Surf Boat or Montara Surf Boss 25. And what you're going to see is there is something very special going on with this boat that you're not going to see on pretty much any other pontoon out there on the market. So I just press the seeker button there, and there's a little light show that goes on, which I think is pretty cool, in addition to a pontoon where the hatch just opens up. And what do we have here? We have an inboard engine, full V8, right here in the bottom of this pontoon. So this pontoon doesn't have an outboard, it has an inboard. And what are those to the side? Ballast bags. This pontoon will get you wake surfing in style and allow you to bring all your friends with the comfort of a pontoon, and you can do it all. This thing is the ultimate sleeper build. People think that you're just rolling up in a pontoon, and here you are packing the heat with a 309 to 350 horsepower V8 engine. And then look at this. You got a little gear garage in here. There's actual steps that go down in there. So what I love about this pontoon is it sits up really high, and then you have all of this storage underneath the boat. So you're going to stay high and dry, but then this thing is also capable of serious wakes and serious wakeboard or waveboard riding. It's a 25 feet and 4 inches long with the deck, with the platform in the back, and there's a little bit of a platform in the front. It's 27 feet 7 inches, 8 foot 6 inches wide. You've got that engine, 309 to 450 horsepower, depending on what package you choose. Fuel capacity of 104 gallons, which is insane for this type of boat, or if you're looking at wake boats or anything like that. So you have a ton of fuel capacity. You're not going to be able to, or you're not going to have to fill this up with gas all the time. You can spend all day on the water and you're going to have plenty of fuel left. You've got a ballast capacity of 4,200 pounds. That is more weight than most cars have. This thing is going to throw a massive wake if you want to wake surf on it because of the weight of the boat as well as the ballast capacity and just the layout of this at 27 foot 7 inches. This is a much larger boat than your typical wake surf boat or wake boat. So that's one of the advantages you get with this, is that this is a large boat with a large footprint, because with the pontoon you get a more rectangular shape than a V-hull shape that you would typically see with a wake boat, or where in the front of the boat at the bow it starts to come in a little bit more. You're losing out on volume there. So this thing is going to displace a lot of water. So you've got the 4,200 pounds in ballast capacity. The dry weight is 6,939 pounds. And this is what's crazy. Your seating capacity is 16 people with a max weight capacity of 2,520 pounds. So you can fit a ton of people on this boat. As you can see from this layout, you've got a bench in the rear, you've got benches in the front. And then not only is this thing a serious wake surf boat, ski boat, wakeboard boat, but it is incredibly comfortable. If you look at the details on how this is laid out, tons of cup holders. So if you're thirsty, you're having a beverage out on the water, responsibly, of course. You've got plenty of places to put your cups. You've got these handles underneath because there's storage right there underneath this as well. So there's all these little details. Every time you go through one of these, you're going to see more and more stuff that you're like, wow, I didn't see that the first time. This is pretty cool. And just look at this engine compartment. Clean, easy to access. The ballast bags are well separated. The engine has insulation there to deaden the noise. You can see this aluminum stringer fabrication here looks beautiful. The pistons on here are beautiful. This is something that you would typically see more in like a large cabin cruiser boat, that level of intricacy inside of the engine compartment. And then this gear room, this thing is crazy. You could put all your boards there, or you could hang them up on the tower. This does have a surf tower. You've got plenty of speakers. I mean, this thing, you're going to cruise in style on this, and then have a ton of room, a lot of comfort. The one thing I do love about pontoon boats is like these two benches up here in the front, you can really lay out there and get some sun or do whatever. And it's very spacious. And then you've got the armrest, so you could have two people that are really nice, just pretty much laying out. And then there's still room for somebody to sit there. Or you could just pack this with your friends with that 16-person capacity and really go wild. Or maybe you're a wakeboarder, you put your skis down there because you don't want anyone to know that you also water ski as well. You can hide it away down there in the gear garage, but it's pretty big. I mean, there's 2 steps down there, a couple electronics, but mostly it's open for storage down in there in the front of the boat. Your captain and co-pilot chairs look incredibly comfortable. The tower here, you also have a little bimini that you can put up or down to get you some shade on this, which I really like. And then just overall, you can see you've got some of your controls here at the helm for this boat. And then this tower, if you need to store it, this can also fold down so that you can get that into a garage or pole barn or storage or whatever you need. But what is, I think, overlooked on this a little bit that I just want to mention again is because of how this has the displacement in the rear and that rear inboard engine, the V8, and all the space underneath the hull here, you're going to sit up on this much higher than a typical pontoon. So even on a choppier day, you're less likely to stuff the bow on this than you would a typical pontoon. On a typical pontoon, you've just got the pontoons there in the front, and they have a tendency, if you overload the front, that you're going to stuff the bow a little bit more on a choppy day. And that actually can even happen with wake surf boats, especially when they're loaded up, just because they sit so low to the water. What you're going to have is sometimes on a choppy day, you're getting some splash over into the front of that, and you can definitely stuff a bow, especially if you're around somebody else that is wakeboarding or wave surfing and they're generating huge wake, and you go next to that wake or through that wake in a wake surf boat when you're fully loaded up with ballast, you have a high probability of potentially stuffing that bow, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Now, a skilled operator is going to identify that condition and not going to let that happen, but it happens more often than you would think, and you'll see boats that actually sink the bow because that bow gets stuffed in the wake surf boat and it's fully loaded up with ballast. With this thing, you just sit so much higher up and you have so much more displacement in the hull shape itself and the overall boat because of its size. You're going to sit higher up and much less likely to stuff the bow. And even when this thing is loaded up, you just have so much more displacement overall that you're going to have an awesome wake in the back, as well as you're going to stay a lot higher and drier and have less of a risk with that. So overall, I think this thing is pretty cool, and it does answer the age-old question, can you wake surf in a pontoon? Absolutely, you could do that in this boat. So if you get it or you have one of these, please leave a comment below because this thing looks like a blast. If you want to have the capacity of a pontoon but the capabilities of a sport boat or a wake surf boat, this thing does it all. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.